Why do countries go to war? What is the point of soft power? And why should you care about geography? These are some of the big questions that Tim Marshall takes on in his books. Tim Marshall is the BBC's diplomatic editor and presenter of the radio programme, The Today programme. He has reported from all over the world on major stories such as the Israeli incursion into Gaza, the war in Afghanistan, the Iran elections, and the Arab Spring. In 2010, he won the Orwell Prize for his war reporting. He is also the author of several books. Tim Marshall is perhaps best known for two of his books in particular, both of which have sold more than 1 million copies worldwide. These are Why We Are Living in an Age of Walls and Worth Dying For, The Power of Politics. Both were published in 2016. But let's start with the earlier book, Why We Are Living in an Age of Walls. This book was written at a time when many countries seemed to be turning away from openness and global cooperation towards isolationism and protectionism. Marshall argues that this trend is driven by three main factors. First, the rise of identity politics. People feel that they belong to a nation and a culture and are willing to fight for it. Secondly, the growth of inequality. As inequality increases, people become more fearful and suspicious of others. Finally, the decline of the post-Cold War order. With the end of the Cold War, the United States became the sole superpower and many countries felt left behind. This has led to a backlash against Americanization and a desire for more control over their own future. Marshall uses a variety of examples from around the world to illustrate his argument. He looks at the construction of new walls and barriers, as well as the re-emergence of old ones. He also explores the ways in which walls are used as symbols of national identity and power. Overall, it's a thought-provoking book that makes us think about the role of walls and barriers in our society. It challenges us to consider whether they are truly effective and what alternatives there might be. So what makes these books so popular? I think there are two main reasons. First, they are very timely. They speak to the concerns of people who are feeling anxious about the future of our world. Secondly, they are very accessible. Marshall writes in a clear and engaging style that makes complex ideas easy to understand. He also uses a lot of real-world examples to illustrate his points. In addition to these two books, Tim Marshall has written several others on international relations and diplomacy. Some of these include Politics of Flags, Shadow Play, Behind the Lines and Under Fire, and Dirty Northern Bastards, and Other Tales for the Terraces. But he is probably best known for two other books, The Power of Geography and Prisoners of Geography. These two books have been massive bestsellers and have had a massive influence on the way we understand international politics. The central argument of both books is that geography matters. Marshall shows how the physical features of a country, such as its location, size, and terrain, shape its political behavior. He argues that countries are not free to act in whatever way they choose. They are constrained by their geography. Marshall's insights are particularly relevant for understanding the Russia-Ukraine war. Putin's decision to invade Ukraine can be seen as a way to prevent Ukraine from joining NATO and therefore expanding the Western sphere of influence closer to Russia's borders. It's a textbook example of how geography matters in international politics. I would say that Tim Marshall is one of the most important political thinkers of our time. His work has helped me and many others to make sense of the complex world we live in. If you want to learn more about international relations and diplomacy, I highly recommend checking out his books, and here is one of my favorite quotes from him. The essence of soft power is that it is about getting what you want by making others want what you want. Thank you for watching. This review was by Dr. Stephen F Myler, who greatly enjoyed reading Tim's books. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time.